first of all, let's take a look at marijuana. Marijuana is called marijuana, or it's called pot, or Mary Jane, or weed, grass. Those are all the street names for this particular substance. And what people do is they take the leaves. This is a plant. They take the leaves. Well, the name of the plant actually is hemp. And you may have heard hemp, like the stalk of the plant actually is a pretty good fiber that's used to make rope. You may have heard of hemp rope. But that's not the part that is smoked. It's the leaves, the leaves, the flowers, the seeds, that part of the plant that is dried and smoked. And the reason why people do that is because it contains this active ingredient right here called THC. Now, as it turns out, this particular hemp plant was an herbal remedy. It was an herbal remedy in China. There's record of it going back 5,000 years, just like ephedra. Okay, there's a record, and it was used by Chinese doctors to treat gas pains and absent-mindedness. That's what the record says. Okay. All right. So it was, it was used to treat people. There's no record of it being used back then for recreational purposes. But now, what it's used for mostly, other than the hemp used for making rope, is it is used for recreational purposes. And the reason why is when this particular plant is smoked, this THC molecule goes very quickly into your bloodstream and then goes all over to all the organs of your body, including your brain. Okay? And there happen to be particular receptors in certain parts of the brain to which this little molecule will attach itself. And when it does attach itself, the types of receptors are the receptors in the brain that influence pleasure. So rather than really, feeling happy about something, you're artificially felt happy when this little chemical messenger attaches to that particular receptor site in your brain that controls pleasure, memory, thought. These are the parts of the brain that has been proven that this little molecule binds to, the THC. What else? Concentration and time perception. Okay? So people take the drug to feel better and sense the world in a different way. So that's why it's considered recreational. There's no, most people use it for recreational use purposes. There are some medicinal uses for it, and it has been shown to reduce nausea in people who have had long-term chemotherapy and are just like nauseated all the time, and also increased appetite for people who have a wasting disease such as HIV/AIDS, where they just are wasting away because they don't feel like eating. So it helps increase the appetite for wasting diseases. Okay? So there's very limited medicinal purposes these days for marijuana, and there are some states where it is legal if it's prescribed by a doctor, but most people use it for recreational purposes. And so the reason why it's a Schedule I is because it's not legal everywhere, so there's not, there's no currently widespread accepted medicinal uses because there haven't been all of the series of FDA tests that would need to happen in order for it to be widespread used for medicinal purposes, but it's used for recreational purposes. But of course there's problems when people use this and then try to operate machinery. For example, say you're someone in charge of driving a commuter train and you've got hundreds of lives in your hands, but you have been using this drug. It can cause problems in concentration thinking straight and perception, and so you can, cause a lot of damage. So it's dangerous for people to use this and then try to go out about and operate a car or work or think straight, that sort of a thing. So and it's apparently addictive as well. Okay, so that's the bad thing about pot. Not to mention the smoke that people are pulling into their lungs. Anytime you pull a smoke or any kind of particulate matter into your lungs, that's very, very bad for your lung health in general. Okay, so that's one. So that may have been considered at one point in time an herbal remedy, and now it is a recreational drug that's illegal because it's addictive and can cause people to do dangerous things.